Attention. May I have your attention, please? We interrupt this regularly scheduled program for a special announcement. This is from the Galactic Federation. Kaipacha will be visiting planet Earth and have a special relationship seminar this weekend. This weekend on planet Earth, March 11th and 12th, the astrology of relationships will be offered by Kaipacha. Look for the link below in order to sign up. Second announcement, Kaipacha will be on the island Edipsos, where Chiron lived 1,000 years ago, this coming May for a week at the spa, offering a workshop. Again, check the link below. And now we go back and you may resume your ordinary program.
Oh my God, it's Kaipacha with the weekly Pele report. March 8th? Is this March? I must be in the wrong place. Ah! Holy cow. Mother Nature, beautiful in her own way. Moon's in Virgo. We had that full moon. She's moving into Libra for today, Thursday, and Friday. Coming into oppose Jupiter and Chiron. And we had that beautiful Jupiter-Chiron conjunction last week. Did you see the Venus? You could see Venus and Jupiter in the night sky. Absolutely beautiful. Just before sunset up there. Absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, the moon's going to oppose Jupiter and Chiron tomorrow. And then on Friday, depending on where you are on planet Earth, okay, she's going to oppose Venus, trine Jupiter, square Pluto, trine Saturn. Oh my God. The exact Jupiter-Chiron conjunction, okay, is happening on Saturday. But all last week, all this week, you can see it. Look at these. The birds are like happy-go-lucky. They don't care. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah. So on Friday we have an exact Venus sextile Mars for some loving going on. That's Venus over there in Aries, starting new things, and Mars over there talking it up in Gemini, Anyway, and the other one is Mercury is sextile Uranus on Saturday. And Venus is conjunct Eris on Saturday. So I'm going to talk about what all this, implies, but just giving the aspects here at the beginning. The other big thing that we want to be talking about today, and I want to share with you, is this Mars square Neptune. It's at the third pass. And I'll go into the dates, but yeah, Mars has, been in Gemini for months, and it's doing its third square, going direct now, finishing off that square to Neptune. That's exact on Tuesday. So next Wednesday, the Sun is going to conjunct Neptune. So I'm going to be talking about Neptune a little bit here. And let me look at the camera. All right, everybody. Is this my first Pele report inside? Just about. I'm not going out there for the whole freaking report, man. I mean, I thought about it, but I got too much to do today, too much going on. But yes, wow. It's bright and early. I just got up, but it's supposed to stop snowing, so I wanted to do the Pele report as soon as possible so you could get this snowfall behind me. So let me gather my thoughts together. This could be a long Pele report. I'm in no hurry. I've got lots of reading to do, and maybe you could leave in the comments, if my reading, would you like prefer me to like not read and just talk, or do you like it when I read from different books? I want to read to you today about the Fool. Yes, the zero card of the major arcana in the tarot, the Fool, because I associate the Fool with Pisces. Sun, Mercury, and Neptune are in Pisces. Mars is squaring Neptune in Pisces, and I want to be talking about this because it's there's no coincidence. In astrology, there's no accidents, there's no coincidence. There's unconsciousness. And the unconscious comes out of nowhere, comes out of the unconscious into the consciousness and blows us away. And so, this is, and the soul is unconscious. And I associate this, number one, Neptune and Pisces in the 12th house has to do with the collective unconscious. Pluto has to do with the soul. But I also associate Chiron with the soul. And I've watched him through transits. I've looked at him in natal chart interpretations, and he has so much to do with our soul, and that is what I'm talking about in this week's mantra. Jupiter conjunct Chiron is the soul of Chiron acting in a very big way, like you can't miss it, like it's in your face. And I want to go back because it's no coincidence that this Jupiter-Venus-Chiron conjunction, okay, which Chiron has to do with a healing crisis. So we're also looking at crises, okay? And these crises, these big crises, Jupiter, Chiron, that have to do with Venus, matters of the heart. Yes, relationships, the physical heart, whatever, it's one of my best buddies just had a stroke. Yeah. And right with this full moon in Virgo, it's got a huge stellium in Virgo. Anyway, it's crushing and it's sudden and it's a crisis. And we're going to be dealing with a lot of this now as Saturn, okay, moves into Pisces. Yeah. So I should say, actually, it's Saturn, Sun, Mercury, Neptune, all in Pisces right now. Very big time, having to do with the Fool. And what else? Well, let's go back in time. I always feel like, I know this is a weekly report, but in order to understand what's going on this week, we have to have a context. We have to look at the bigger picture. So I want to bring you a little bit of the bigger picture today. And we have to go back if we want to look at this, Jupiter-Chiron conjunction. When was the last time Jupiter was conjunct Chiron? It was in May of 2009. Do you remember what you were doing then? Not only that, but and you can go back to the Pele report I did then. I remember I was in Israel. I gave a talk on the Jupiter-Neptune-Chiron conjunction. All three of them came together at 26 degrees of Aquarius. Think of what planets you have at 26 degrees. And think of this cycle that began for you in 2009. That's when I moved from California out to Hawaii, is in 2009. And it was chasing a dream. Neptune is the dream. And some of these dreams become reality, and some of these dreams fizzle into illusions and cause great disappointment and disillusionment. Yeah? And this is just like, we reach, okay, this is a time of downloads. So now let's look at Mars. Let's look at this Mars square Neptune. Okay. Mars was conjunct Neptune. Okay, that's the seed. Okay, the seed was sown Mars is I desire, I want, I act. Neptune is spirit, dream, fantasy, infinite love, union, and drugs. Stop it. But definitely, let's say plant medicine. I'll be kosher and hip, whatever. But we're gonna just kind of understand that Neptune is this multi-dimensional world that we cannot access with our conscious ego. Okay, it is love. It is, we can't comprehend this with just our Mercury left brain, linear, logical brain and mind and ego. So that's the way it has to do with the heart. It has to do with the crown chakra. And this is this infinite connection. So when Mars, which is my will, I will unite, I will love, I will be one with all that is, I will transcend and ascend and experience this great spirit, right? That conjunction, okay, was May 19th of last year. So a seed, you had an intention, or you had a new impulse, or you had a new desire to experience love in a new way, or to open your crown chakra in a new way, or to dance your dance of life in a new way last May. And then it came around to the first quarter square. Neptune stays in Pisces, very slow. Mars comes around to Gemini, okay, and makes that first square October 12th, okay? And that's a time to take your seed and put it into action. So last October, it was like, yeah, I really want to go for this. I want to make life a movie. I want to, reach for the stars. I want to, in Geminis, I want to talk about it, and I want to write about it, and I want to sing about it, and I want to dance about it. So, Gemini is like, all over the place, right? So this is direct. And then, Mars entered Gemini, last October 21st? August. From August 21st to March 25th, 7 months. Mars is in Gemini, driving everybody loco, right? So anyway, it came through October 12th. Then it went retrograde November 20th. Okay? So, it came through October 12th, and you said, okay, yeah, I want to do this, I want to sing this song and do this dance and reach for the stars. Well, the retrograde, when Mars went retrograde from October 30th to January 12th, Mars retrograde is, make space. If you want to dance your dance, clear the dance floor. If you want to reach for the stars, get yourself a rocket. Like, you need to prepare. You need to inwardly, remodel, your life so that so there's room for this dream. Yeah. So that's that retrograde Mars. And now finally, okay, this third pass, all right, which is Tuesday, the 14th, Mars comes back for that third pass. And that third pass is, okay, time to dance your dance. If you're going to dance, now's the time. This is it. And if you're reaching for the stars, this is the time where you're either going to get the stars, or you did not get your spaceship together. You did not clear the dance floor, and you're not reaching the stars, and there's no room to dance. So this is kind of like a culmination time, okay, of it can be either the manifestation of the dream, or it can be disillusionment and disappointment that I did not make. I didn't realize the dream. Yeah. And it's very interesting to have this again happening at the same time as this Jupiter Chiron conjunction. Okay. I'm not really done with this Mars Neptune because I wanted to read about the Fool. Because this is kind of an interesting dynamic, and I screwed up the order, but that's because, I just woke up, man. Gotta give me a break. Okay. I gotta read you the Fool. I love the Thoth deck. I know everybody gives me a hard time, because it's a Crowley and everything, but This is so good, such good stuff. Yeah, I want to read about the consciousness having to do with the Fool, and it's pretty far out there. This is a time of Pisces, Neptune. I'm telling you, it's far out there. It's time to maybe go far out there. But here it is. On the level of consciousness, the Fool personifies the astonishment that, according to Plato, is the beginning of all knowledge. The Fool is at the beginning, in the void. His entire self is still so filled with cosmic experiences that the rational basis of the material world, with its functional course of action, is missing. His conscious experience is influenced by dreams and the dream world. For this connection to the inconceivable still dominates. Although the wisdom of the Fool symbolizes greatest maturity, this does not mean that every fool is a sage. He stands at the beginning of a journey that will lead him back to himself at the end of the path. But in the course of this journey, he must experience reality and become mature in order to turn back to the source of his childhood. Even if we instinctively sense that the goal lies in the source itself, there are no shortcuts that would save us the arduous detours. I mean, you might want to rewind and listen to that again. It's like, okay, this is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, Neptune, Pisces, Mars squaring Neptune, coming out of the void into Gemini, which is the here and now reality, but only to circle around and return back to source, back to the multidimensional spiritual realities. And so it's really something that when we come into Gemini, and this Mars in Gemini, there is this detours and, the mistakes and, the smorgasbord of life that Gemini likes to taste of all these little bits and all this, And this is where the mantra comes in, where we can go off track, right? We can go off the path. Or we can get, this flower is so beautiful, I just want to stare at it forever. And we can get attached or stuck on the path. And this is where then the unconscious soul of Chiron comes in and gives us a kick in the butt. Yeah? This soul of Chiron and Jupiter coming around through Aries says, no more time to smell the roses. You got to keep on moving. Yeah, you have to keep on evolving. You have to keep on growing. You have to keep on maturing. And you can't hold on to that relationship or that position or that job or that situation, longer. It's time to go on. But the ego, we can be stubborn, right? We can we can say, no, this feels good, or I'm comfortable, or I want this, to stay, and it's just never end. And this is where crisis comes in. Yeah, this is where you get a health crisis, a financial crisis, a job crisis, housing crisis. All these crises can come in that say, guess what? Yes, your ego gets attached to things because the ego is the source of fear. The ego is the source of separation, and the soul wants union. So the ego can seek this union in, temporary time-space. The ego exists within the time-space continuum of the third dimension. And this is where that trip comes in. Now, what I want to do is let's look at the Sabian symbol for the degree of this Jupiter-Chiron conjunction that's going on, like I said, all last week, all this week, all next week, at least. And of course, Venus was there. Venus is kind of still hanging out there. I tend to use really tight orbs. I'm going to try to work on that because these influences, especially if you're sensitive, you can feel them coming a lot sooner, and you can still feel them after they've passed a lot longer. And that is the orb of separation. But this Sabian symbol for this Jupiter-Chiron conjunction is the 15th degree of Aries, and it is an Indian weaving a ceremonial blanket. The keynote is projecting into everyday living the realization of wholeness and fulfillment. So here's Mars, Neptune, Sun in Pisces, looking for this wholeness and fulfillment and wanting to project it into everyday reality. This is like the successful manifestation of Mars square Neptune in Gemini, of Jupiter Chiron. This healing that can happen is that we can have a soul experience and we can inject our soul spirit into this mundane world. Let's look at this, what the Sabian symbol says. If this symbol comes to the consciousness of the inquirer after meaning, deliberately, or through, an astrological conjunction, an act of revelation, implied is the profound fact that every individual has as his ultimate conscious task the weaving of his immortal body, his Gnostic robe of glory. It may sound very mystical and far out, but there is a moment in every cycle when, in however small a degree, every individual may be confronted with the potentiality of a fulfilling act of self-realization, and may, ever so relatively, find himself clothed in light for an instant. We are told by it that the fulfillment of desire is a possibility at whatever level and in however incomplete a manner it may be experienced. So this is what I really want to stress for us today, and what this mantra is really all about, right? Let me read the mantra once, right? Just bring us back to the mantra for the week. Repeating this over as, you go through your daily world, this week can kind of bring this back into consciousness. But most often a crisis erupts in my life when I have veered off track and chased an illusion or got so attached that my soul had to bring me back. Yeah. If you're having a hard time, or you know someone who's having a hard time, or someone is in crisis, or you are in crisis, this is a time of going in. This is a time of connecting to the heart force. This is a time of connecting to the love force. This is a time of connecting to spirit. And maybe asking why, if you want to satisfy your mind. But even beyond the why, it's to sit with what is. And it's to receive and listen to what the soul, it's like this is a reminder. A crisis is a reminder. It's like, hey, what is really most valuable in life? What are you really here for? What is your deepest soul intention for being born And this is also where I just want to say, um, how can I put this? It's sad. There's a sad situation that I feel grief in my heart that the expansion of materialism occurring these days in this materialistic, particularly the Western world, but it seems to have gotten even over into the East, and the entire planet is sinking down into materialism, where they have lost communion, lost touch with the soul. They don't believe in the soul. The soul reincarnates. The soul is timeless. It's outside time and space. So we have such big egos running the show these days and writing the script, speaking the narrative out to our children and out to the masses, that so many people are not even listening, looking for, or trying to experience their soul nature. So, if you're listening to this Pele report, if you're, familiar with my work and what I'm doing, I mean, it's a soul astrology, yeah? And we're looking at this, what reincarnates, what is more timeless, what is more eternal, and not getting lost in the temporal, not getting lost in this material third dimension. So, if you are in crisis, or you know someone, or that it is like, go beyond your temporal physical experience, go into a meditative state, okay, do some microdosing or whatever it takes you to break out of just your ego left brain thought patterns that take this kind of what's going on as the reality. This is one reality existing within a much greater reality. And the more that we tap into this greater reality, the less trauma, the less grief, the less confusion we will experience in this daily reality. So that is the soul bringing us back. Crisis is the soul bringing us back, saying, you've gone off track. you've got lost. You've been distracted by this material illusion of Maya. So whether it's a hospital bed, or your physical therapy office, or your yoga room, or whatever, it's like, what? Center yourself, breathe, meditate, and reconnect to the core of who you are. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That's what this mantra is about. Yeah. Most often a crisis erupts in my life when I have veered off track and chased an illusion, or got so attached that my soul had to bring me back. May you come back. May you return. May you do the fool's journey. May you weave your robe, your robe of glory. May you do this with the least amount of crisis. May you not veer so far off track that it requires a massive crisis, but that we maybe have little mini crises, like, I have to get out of bed and it's cold. Oh my God. Anyway, there's mini crises and there's big crises, and hopefully there's just little ones all along the way. A lot of times, if we don't have any for a long period of time, they explode, like that volcanic eruption that I spoke of last week with the full moon, right? So I think some of us have had a volcanic eruption. So this week is a time of letting the ashes settle and to look at the deeper intention, the soul intention behind our ego experience. Namaste, aloha, so much love.